Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever commentary on the F1 2021 game. We're here at Imola. It's a wet race, qualified poorly, so we're in 12th next to our teammate Rocco. And it's going to be a wet race, but it's going to transition to the dry around halfway through the race. So it's going to be interesting. We're starting on the outside, which is I think the favorable place to start um, the race around Imola. So let's wait for the lights to go out, and we'll start this race. We have one, two, three, four, five lights, and the lights are out, and away we go. We get quite a decent start compared to our teammate Rocco, just getting on the traction a little bit better than my teammate, and looks like everything's a little bit bunching up in front, so we're going to brake quite early, and because of that, I'm going to get hit from behind by Nathan, and that makes me go a little bit wide and allows me to eat a curb, which puts me into Rocco, who eats a curb. And then Nathan tries to go on the inside of Rocco. He puts him on the grass, which is quite crazy. And then Nathan gets squeezed on the curb. Rocco dives down the inside, pushes Nathan onto the gravel, and I take advantage of both of those two making a mistake. And we're up into P11, I think, just about to finish the move, using a little bit of overtake to get out of our teammate, and that's quite a clean start. Now, a lap later, um, we're all just in the queue in the wet. It's impossible to overtake around in these conditions, and we're heading into the first chicane of Imola. And I make a little mistake here on the traction, which puts me out wide and into the gravel, and allows my teammate to make the move on me, and I lose a position because of that, unfortunately. Now, a lap later, literally, I did the exact same thing, again onto the gravel, and now Larkin gets through. So, definitely not an ideal start of the race, losing two positions like that, just from simple errors, which is very unfortunate. Now, heading on to lap 10, and nothing's really happening, and you think it's going to happen the same thing here, but no, I don't make a mistake. But someone who does is Nathan, and he's out of the race, turns off his PlayStation, and leaves the party. And he's definitely not happy, but it does bring out a safety car, which is quite a difficult situation. Here I asked Jeff what's the weather report, and Jeff says something in the likes of it's going to dry out, any dry is imminent. So 3 laps of safety car, I was thinking maybe I should pit onto the mediums and gamble that it's going to dry up within the next 2 or 3 laps, and that's what I do. I select the mediums. It's a massive gamble at this point because it's clearly not dry enough for the slicks at all. But I was in P13, had nothing to lose really, so I just went for it. My teammate doesn't go in, which allows me to go in to the pits, and yeah, it's just going to be very, very tricky on this outlap with the weather, as Larkin goes into the pits as well, as does Cantera, as does Jordy, and I think Daniel did as well, but he pitted onto the intermediate tires, so he has to come. He either has to come back in the next lap or stay out on those intermediates until it's actually dry. So we're just waiting here. We're gonna see on the exit that it's very, very slippery out on track, almost no grip whatsoever, and uh, here we're gonna see Larkin, I think, make a slight error instantly on the mediums, and just you see that there's no grip on these tires, so we have to be very, very careful. And we're at the safety car restart now. Both Haas drivers stayed out on intermediate tires to start to restart the safety car, and as you can see, it's fully stopped raining and its track's drying up massively. So those two Haas boys will struggle a lot and will lose basically a pit stop to us. And we fast forward a lap where we see one of the Haases who hasn't come into the pits to double stack in QVR Verstappen staying out on the intermediate tires and on a basically dry track at this point, and he's going to lose out massively because of this, and we make the easy move around the outside like he's not even there basically, so that's a nice move to move up. Fast forward 4 laps and I'm about to get overtaken by Cantera, who has 6 seconds of time penalty halfway through the race, which is quite a lot, so I just wanted to stick behind him, use his DRS and not get any penalties, and he makes a clean move past me. However, going into the next chicane, something's going to happen to Cantera, and he makes an error going onto the curb a little bit, which gives me a look to go around the outside of the hairpin. And Cantera squeezes me out wide. I can't perform the switchback, and we remain places. But Daniel behind me is very quick, and he eventually overtakes me the next lap. But fast forward a couple of laps more, my teammate Rocco, he's obviously very quick, but he also has a 3 second time penalty. So I just want to stick behind him, use his DRS, and not get any warnings, and just chill out for the rest of the race. Well, fast forward 29 laps, we have another guy who crashes out, Kiefer Campbell. You might have heard of him. He's quite bad sometimes, especially on real tracks. But he causes a very, very late safety car. And because I have no penalties, it might be a good decision for me to stay out or come into the pits. But I have my teammate Rocco directly in front of me, so it's either I'm going to double stack and lose a position to Neo, definitely, and maybe not gain as much on the guys ahead who do have penalties. So it's a very, very tough decision. My teammate Rocco obviously goes in, very smart decision, and I back out last second to not go into the pits and keep the track position. And it's going to be a very tough next 2 laps, as I have to keep behind the leaders who are on fresh, soft tires, and while I'm on old or medium tires, so this is going to be very difficult. Fast forward to this safety car restart, as Wouter for some reason goes very slow, allows some of the soft runners to catch up, which is very stupid, but it happened and didn't quite hamper me in the end, but it wasn't the smartest decision. At the safety car restart though, almost nothing happened. Joe Brim is quite close to the back of me, had a poor actual release of the when Wouter went, so he wasn't quite close enough, but now with using the soft tires, he's getting really close, and I have to be very cautious here. With Joe Brim very close to the back of me, I just defend the middle of the track so he can't go on the inside or outside and dive me. And we keep in the middle of the track, but it's going to be very, very difficult to keep these cars behind on fresh softs, and they're obviously very quicker than me. Even in without the tire advantage, these guys are massively quicker than I am. So it's going to be very tough to keep them behind. We have a very bad chicane, but Jordan gets a good exit, tries to go around the outside. I brake very late on the inside, don't give him minimal space whatsoever. I get pushed out wide onto the track, but Jordan barely gives me room to rejoin the track, and we keep the position for now, but he tries to go around the outside of the penultimate corner, and I just brake very late, closes that door for him to not have the chance to go around the outside, and we keep the position for 2 more corners. Now, he's going to use a lot of ERS to stay ahead of me, and I allow him to get past because, well, he's obviously going to be very quick, and he has 3 seconds of time penalties, and with 1 lap to go, I doubt he's going to get the gap of 3 seconds on me, so we're just going to let him pass and keep our car alive, basically. I make a very tactical mistake here to let my teammate Rocco through. That was all planned, of course. And he gets up to position, but he has 6 seconds of time penalties, so it's going to be very, very... or it's going to be... We're going to be ahead of him anyways, but I get a bit of exit out of the chicane. Verstappen might have a look up the inside or outside of the final chicane, but he decides he doesn't want to go for it. He wants to keep his position, which is fair enough, because he obviously, because of the first safety car where he stayed out on intermediate tires, wanted to and had to pit onto slicks and basically lost the entire pit stop. He'll take anything he can get from this race after being last for the entire race, basically. But we come home to finish P4 around Imola, and Wouter wins the race. Daniel finishes second. Larkin finishes third, his first podium in D1, I think. And very happy with the results. P4, very unexpected. And that was it. That was my post commentary of this race. And I would thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing, and see you next week. Goodbye.